Game 2 here from Crutchfield Park. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Zach Lambert, joined on the broadcast by my partner Dylan Castaigne. The Tom Sox won Game 1 of the doubleheader against the Front Royal Cardinals 7-2, and we are almost ready to go here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Quick go over the starting lineups. First for the visiting Front Royal Cardinals, it's Trent Jeffcoat back in the leadoff spot playing short. Adarius Myers hitting second, playing left. Nico Amory, their all-star catcher, is batting third. Batting fourth, Ben Brantley. Fifth, playing second base, Wade Kuda. Batting sixth in center field, Jack Krause. The DH, batting seventh, Casey Carras. Batting eighth in right field, Ty Gilbert. And batting ninth at third base, Henry Jameson. Around the diamond for the Charlottesville Tom Sox at third base, it's Eddie Eisert. Shortstop, Cole Foster. Will Safford's at second. Adam Cesari's at first. Hurley, Skinner, and Bennett from right to left. And then the battery, Ochoa doing the catching for starting pitcher Dylan Yanak, who just got the ball back. And we are ready to go as Trent Jeffcoat digs in. But, Dylan, can you tell us a little bit about your person with the same name, Dylan Yanak?
Yeah, Yanak, as we mentioned, done a great job with the Tom Sox so far this year, looking to get another win against the Cardinals today. Yanak, as we've mentioned, done a great job. Appeared in 9 games, 5 of them started. Pitching 24.1 innings to a 4.06 ERA. Looking to lower that today against the Cardinals.
Winds and deals. First pitch is fouled straight back, and we're underway. Game 2, official start time, 6:06, as Trent Jeffcoat steps up to the plate to lead things off. He led things off in Game 1 for Front Royal with a leadoff single, stole a base, and came around to score. The 0-1, he swings and taps this one foul over towards the Tom Sox dugout. It's 0-2. He wound up going 1 for 4 in the first half of the doubleheader. So he's down the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. So again, the defensive lineup for the Tom Sox from third to first, it's Eisert, Foster, Saffer, and Cesari, with Foster at short. Then from left to right, Bennett, Skinner, Hurley, and Ochoa doing the catching for Yanak, whose 0-2 pitch is skied out behind third base, hooking into foul territory, and a great snag by a fan out there. Get some applause from the batter, the pitcher, both dugouts, as the youngster makes the catch. But the count holds, no balls and 2 strikes to Trent Jeffcoat.
Yeah, we might have to get that fan's name, see if he makes an appearance here at Crutchfield Park in the near future. Great grab there. Fun atmosphere at Crutchfield Park, as always.
0-2 bounces up to the plate. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Umpires for the second half are the same 2, but they switch positions, so it's Mark Yoder behind the plate and Michael Mackey on the bases. A ball and 2 strikes. Dylan Yanak, an all-star for the Tom Sox this year. Winds and deals. Here's the pitch, and that's in the dirt as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Front Royal rocking their same red uniforms with the gray numbers, white lettering across the front reads Front Royal Cardinals. Gray pants with the red socks. As for the Tom Sox, they switch it up here in Game 2. They still got the same white pants on, same blue socks. The 2-2 is grounded to second base. Safford Fields throws on the run in time, 1 out. The Tom Sox got on the blue jerseys now with the green sleeves, green numbers, white lettering says Tom Sox. There's 1 out now after the ground out to second base. Darius Myers will come to the plate, batting second again. He's 1 for 4, singled in his last at-bat in the first game. First pitch from Yanak is breaking ball. Myers tries to check his swing. They appeal. Did he go? Yes, says the first base umpire. That's Michael Mackey. No balls and a strike.
Yeah, the 2 teams here going with different approaches in Game 2. The Cardinals mostly the same lineup, a couple of substitutions, but for the most part the same hitters. Meanwhile, the Tom Sox, very few players are still in the lineup. You have Pierce Bennett, who appeared in Game 1, Cesari, Langford, and that's it out of the pure starters. Some of those guys that are in the lineup now were pinch hitters, but for the starters, only a couple guys remain. So 2 different approaches here for Game 2 of this doubleheader.
Yanak tries to get Myers to chase a pitch in the dirt. This time he does check his swing as they appealed again. The 1-1 is a good fastball that finds the outer edge. It's a ball and 2 strikes now on a Darius Myers. Nico Amory waits on deck. Yanak Angled slightly towards the third base side, holds his hands at his belt. Now winds, deals the 1-2. Myers checks his swing on a breaking ball low, and the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And if you're the Tom Sox, the formula for victory is just as it was before. Get that offense started early and often, as they've done a great job the past few games, scoring a total of 42 runs over the past few games, and a great job of maintaining their strong offensive output and looking to do the same against the Cardinals here today.
2-2 gets all the way to the backstop, and the count's full on Darius Myers, who's in left field today. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and he fouls off the 3-2 over to the right side. We'll try it again. Count still full. Got Nico Amory on deck. We did not see him in Game 1. It was Timothy Myra doing the catching. Another payoff pitch, though, to Myers, and it's fouled straight back again. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes, and a good battle brewing here between Darius Myers and Dylan Yanak. Myers, rising senior outfielder at Louisiana Tech, out of Seminary, Mississippi. Another 3-2, and a good take there on a breaking ball. It was low and away. Ball 4, so a great battle there that's won by Myers. There's a man aboard for Nico Amory.
Yeah, and if you're the Cardinals, you kind of drew the short straw today, facing the two of the 3 Tom Sox pitchers that made it to the All-Star game, and Yanak in Game 2 and Kurtner in Game 1. But the formula is still the same. You got to drive that pitch count up, which they did a great job there with Myers, drawing a couple pitches there to draw the long walk.
Runner going, first pitch, swung on and missed. The throw down to second is in time. A beautiful throw by R.J. Ochoa behind the dish. Nails Darius Myers at second and wipes the base runner off the board. There's 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the first.
Yeah, in Game 1 we talked about the hitting of R.J. Ochoa, but right there he flashes his glove. Great job there making a strong throw to second base. Threw it before the second baseman was even there. So great job there to nail the second out of the inning for the Sox.
No balls and a strike to Nico Amory, and he takes breaking ball upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Amory didn't play in the first game. Homered last night, though. The 1-1 bounces up to the plate. 58-footer that skips to the backstop. 2 balls and a strike. Amory's out of Marist College. He was 2 for 4 last night, as I mentioned, the home run. He's hitting .325, 12th in the Valley League. Swings through a 2-1 changeup, and the count's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Great pitch there from Yanak on the 2-1 pitch to even the count up there. See if he can notch his first strikeout of the afternoon to continue a scoreless first inning.
Yanak has his sign from Ochoa. Rocks and deals the 2-2 breaking ball up and in, and the count's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and Yanak's now gone full on 2 of the first 3 batters of this ballgame. The payoff pitch to Amory is just low, just a bit outside, just missed, and he walks him. So Yanak, a guy that has struggled with kind of walking batters all season, walks another one there. He's got 2 already in this first inning. And Yanak has issued 23 free passes now through his first 25 innings. So with 2 outs rather, and a runner on first base, that'll bring up Ben Brantley. Back in the cleanup spot today, batting left-handed. Yanak set at the belt. Goes with the high leg kick in the first pitch, bounces up to the plate, and gets past Ochoa. So Amory down to second base on the wild pitch, and there's a runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
Yeah, as we said once again in the first game, if you're this Cardinals lineup, you got to take advantage of some sloppy pitching early on. So if they, as we just happened, a runner advanced into scoring position there, we got to take advantage of that if you're the Cardinals. You know, you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get against this strong Tom Sox pitching staff. And with the Tom Sox batting lineup, the way they've been playing, you cannot afford to throw any opportunities away.
The 1-0 is grounded foul over towards the Tom Sox dugout, and it's a ball and a strike. So opposing Yanak on the other side is Jack Casa out of Alvernia College. See him in the bottom half of the first inning. A ball and a strike on Ben Brantley. Yannock checks Amory at second, now comes home, and that one's low and stopped by Ochoa. It's 2 balls and a strike. Brantley, mentioned in Game 1, he was a home run derby participant. 2 ones in the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. He was 0 for 2 in the first game. Drew a walk and was caught stealing, and Gary Giebel threw him out. He also flew out to left and bounced out to short. And Yannock steps off the mound, and mound visit from John Maley. Here, 3 balls and a strike, 2 outs in the top of the first. Runner on second base. Yannock's already walked 2, in danger of walking his 3rd batter, and only the first 4 hitters to come to the plate.
Yeah, and for Yannock, you'd have to go back 3 starts ago against the Harrisonburg Turks when he gave up his last run. Lasted only an inning and a third, giving up 3 runs on only 1 hit. So, see if he can keep the scoreless here. After that, he had 2 great scoreless games, a combined 4 innings, giving up just 1 hit. So the stuff is there, the talent is certainly there. Let's see if he can keep his scoreless streak going tonight against the Front Royal Cardinals.
He's ready with the 3-1, and it misses inside, ball 4. I think it actually might have gotten a piece of Ben Brantley. Regardless, he's on first base, and that'll bring up Wade Kuda with runners on first and second. 2 outs. A little bit of 2-out magic brewing here for the Front Royal Cardinals, who scored a run in the top of the first in the first game. Looking to do the same here against Dylan Yannock. The first pitch to Kuda is over the inside edge. No balls and 1 strike.
Doing a great job there to fight back, and after issuing the walk there, able to settle himself down and throw a nice pitch for the first strike.
The 0-1 is fouled off over our heads behind the press box, and it's no balls and 2 strikes now, and Yannock is 1 strike away from getting out of this.
Yeah, in the first game, we saw the Tom Sox pitching staff, especially the relief pitching staff, escape a couple of jams on numerous occasions, and Yannock looking to continue that trend into Game 2.
The 0-2 inside corner, ring him up, strike 3 called. Yannock escapes trouble by striking out Wade Kuda, who is completely baffled at the plate. He can't believe it. No runs, no hits, no errors, but they do leave 2. And after half an inning of play, it's the Cardinals 0, and the Tom Sox coming to bat. Scoreless as we go to the bottom of the first inning between the Front Royal Cardinals and the Charlottesville Tom Sox. Game 2 of a doubleheader. Pierce Bennett will be leading things off for the Tom Sox here in the second half of the doubleheader. He was in the 3-hole last game. It'll be Pierce Bennett, Braylon Skinner, Eddie Eisert, Adam Cesari, Wyatt Langford, and Cole Foster, and R.J. Ochoa, Jack Hurley, and Will Safford, the bottom third of the lineup for Charlottesville. in the field behind Jack Casa out of Alvernia. Set the defensive alignment after this pitch to Pierce Bennett. He's swinging at it, and he rips it just inside the bag at third base fair down the left field line. Rounding first on his way to second and trotting in easily with a stand-up double on the first pitch is Pierce Bennett. And the Tom Sox, a runner in scoring position, just one pitch into the bottom of the first.
Yeah, great job there by Pierce Bennett, lining that first pitch to the left field, right as you said, inside the bag. Pierce Bennett's been real hot lately over his last 8 games, coming in today batting .323. So great job, and looking to continue that today with that double.
So Braylon Skinner digs in now, and as I mentioned, the defensive alignment, Henry Jamison's at third, Trent Jeffcoat is at short, Wade Kuda is at second, Ben Brantley at first, and the first pitch, Skinner bunting. He gets it down on the third base side, but it's going to roll foul, and then Amory wisely picks it up in foul territory. In the outfield for the Cardinals, in left field, it's Adarius Myers, center field, Jack Krause, right field, Ty Gilbert. So again, it's Jamison, Jeffcoat, Kuda, Brantley in the infield from third to first, and then the outfield from left to right, Myers, Krause, and Gilbert, and Nico Amory doing the catching for Jack Casa. 2 Pennsylvania kids. Amory goes to Marist College. Casa at the D3 Alvernia. The 0-1 to Braylon Skinner. Popped up third base side, foul territory, and a swarm of kids chases after that ball as it bounds out of play. The count's no balls and 2 strikes on the Mississippi State Bulldog Braylon Skinner. Casa is yet to make an appearance. This is his first one for the Cardinals. He's ready with an 0-2 to the national champion Braylon Skinner, and this one's lined into left field, down for a base hit. Myers plays it in and gets it in time to hold Pierce Bennett at third as it's cut off by Jamison. So back-to-back hits for the Tom Sox to get this one going, and that'll bring up Eddie Eisert out of NC State with runners on the corners and no one out.
I know we've said this a lot today, but Eddie Eisert, another one of the hot Tom Sox hitters since coming to Charlottesville, batting .360, 4 RBIs, 6 walks, and 4 stolen bases. So he's found a way to get on base, and that's exactly what the Tom Sox have needed over this recent stretch.
So Jack Casa in a little bit of trouble here as Eddie Eisert steps in, and the first pitch to Eisert floats in there, no balls and a strike. Eisert, .360, no home runs, 4 RBIs so far as a Tom Sox. That's from the left side of the plate. The 0-1 is grounded up the middle. Fielded at short by Jeffcoat. Takes it to the bag himself. Relay on to first is in plenty of time to get Eisert. So a 6-3 double play wipes out Braylon Skinner, but Pierce Bennett does come in to score. No RBI there for Eisert, but a 1-0 lead for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, just like in the first game, Tom Sox getting on the board early. That's one thing I mentioned they got to do if they want to try and combat this hot offense, or what can be a offense of the Cardinals today.
Adam Cecere up to bat now, and he takes the first pitch curveball low. So for Casa at Alvernia, it was a bit of a struggle this season. Only 4 1/3 innings, 10.38 ERA. So not anything to write home about as the 1-0 bounces up to the plate as well. It's 2-0.
Very interesting. We've seen a couple pitchers today so far, and all of them have had ERAs north of 7. So as we mentioned in the opener to this doubleheader, the Cardinals pitching staff, not one of the best in the Valley Baseball League, but a lot of times their batting lineup can back them up. Today in the first game, not so much. Let's see if they can rally here in the second.
Winds and deals. The 2-0 to Cecere is tapped foul. 2 balls and a strike. Casa really got hit around against Widener earlier this year while pitching for Alvernia. 3 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned. Didn't record an out against Messiah College, and he gave up 2 hits and an earned run. He winds and deals a 2-1 to Cecere, and it's hit slowly foul down the first base line. And it evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As you mentioned here, Casa making his VBL debut with the Cardinals tonight, and it is a very difficult situation to make your debut coming off that doubleheader, or opening of the doubleheader loss, and now facing one of the hottest lineups, if not the hottest lineup in the VBL.
Cesari was in the cleanup spot in the first game, and he drew a couple of walks. He was 0 for 2, though. And he rips a 2-2 pitch foul down the first baseline again. So we'll try it again 2-2. And he did piece together some nice at-bats in that first game, was fouling off pitches, working the count, and he's doing so again here against Jack Casa.
Yeah, it's one thing we've seen from the Tom Sox lineup is not only can they smack the ball around when they need to, but they can be really patient and draw walks or, even if they're getting out, but just making the pitcher throw extra pitches, which the shorter you can keep these pitchers in the game, the better for your offense.
2-2's in the dirt, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Adam Cesari, who's at first base today. Designated hitter Wyatt Langford waits on deck. Should Cesari reach and extend the inning? It's 1-0, bottom of the first. Tom Sox scored. And Cesari launches one to right field. No doubt about this one. How far will it go? Adam Cesari, an absolute bomb, and it's 2-0 Tom Sox in the bottom of the first.
Wow, Zach, as you mentioned, off the bat, we knew there was zero shot of that one coming back as Cesari notches another home run on this season so far with the Tom Sox. He's done a great job of that, so great job launching that one to right field. I can't even tell you how far that one went.
A little kid tracks that ball down out in right field. Wow. That ball was gone in a hurry, and Cesari knew it off the bat. He stood there and watched it and then gave a nice little bat flip on his way down the first baseline. So 2-0 Tom Sox here. Bottom of the first, Wyatt Langford digs in for Cesari. That is his 4th home run of the season, his 18th RBI. And Langford, first pitch swinging, pops it foul over towards the shed on the first base side. No balls and a strike.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the 4th home run for Cesari and just his 16th, now it's his 17th game for the Tom Sox. So he's hitting a home run basically every other game. So he's done a great job since coming to Charlottesville on putting bat on ball and sometimes ball out of field.
0-1 to Langford is a hanging breaking ball that he just misses and fouls this one back. There's no balls and 2 strikes now on the Florida Gator, Wyatt Langford, who extended his on-base streak in the first game. It's at 13 now. The 0-2 to him. It's outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Langford at 354. 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. The 1-2. Line hard right side, but fouling out of play. Tried again, 1-2. Cole Foster, switch hitter, is on deck, and Foster did not play in the first half of the doubleheader, and that was the first game all season that Foster did not appear in.
Yeah, we talked to Foster before the game, and he let us know that he was not going to be in the starting lineup. I may have been more disappointed by that absence than he was, to be honest with you.
1-2 is popped up in the infield right to the first baseman, Brantley, who puts it away and ends the inning. But the Tom Sox scored 2 runs, one of them off the bat of Adam Cesari that might just still be traveling. And as we head to the top of the second, it's 2-0 Tom Sox. Two 2-0 Tom Sox, top of the second inning. And before we get going here, just a reminder that Tom Sox Baseball is brought to you by Crutchfield. Audio, video, and more since 1974. The official sponsor of Crutchfield Park at Charlottesville High School. And if you haven't heard, you can get into Crutchfield Park for free for any Tom Sox home game. Schedule is winding down, though, and Yanok's first pitch of the top of the second is swung on and missed by Jack Krause. It's 0-1.
Yeah, hopefully for the Tom Sox, you'll get for the Tom Sox fans, I should say, plenty of opportunities to come to Crutchfield Park when we play in the playoffs this offseason.
The 0-1 is rolled to first base, but apparently it hit Krause's foot or leg or something, and it's a dead ball. And the count's now 0-2 on Jack Krause, who was 0 for 2 with an RBI in the first half of the game, had a sac fly in his first at-bat of the day. So he walks around, shakes this one off.
Yeah, Krause for the Cardinals this season, batting .304, just over 30 games, appearing in 32, heading into...
0-2 was just off the edge, and Ochoa was ready to throw that one around. But the home plate umpire, Mark Yoder, called it a ball, and now it's 1-2. Here's the 1-2. This one's hit in the air to center field. Skinner back a couple of steps and over to his right a few, settles under it, puts it away, no problem for the first out of the inning. So one out. Now we'll bring up the designated hitter, Casey Karras. It's out of Messiah College, so Front Royal tapping into some of the D3 schools in Pennsylvania for some of their talent. Messiah College, Alvernia College, Jack Casa. First pitch is up and away, 1-0. Yanok on the mound is out of Rice University, a tall right-handed pitcher. He winds and deals. This one's popped up. Third base side, foul territory. This one is going to get out of play. It actually hit the top of the fence. So Choa gave it a look, but bounds out of play, and the count moves to 0-2. Karras, game 1, was in the 3-hole, doubled in his first at-bat, which drove in the first run of the game, then struck out in the next 3, the 0-2. Yanok can't get him to chase a breaking ball down low, and it's 1-2. Trying to avoid a strikeout in his 4th straight at-bat. The 1-2, lined into left field, not hard hit, but right at the left fielder. That's Pierce Bennett. He makes the catch, and there's 2 outs.
Yeah, great job by Yanok. Usually a high strikeout guy with the Sox, but today, through the first inning and 2/3, just pitching to contact, but the defense behind him is doing a great job of doing what they need to and helping out their pitching staff.
So Ty Gilbert comes in from South Carolina Aiken. Did not play in the first game, but last night was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, so wore the collar, and he takes a first pitch breaking ball. Very well located by Yanok. No balls and a strike. Yanok, as many of us, self included, 0-1, bounces up to the plate. That was about a 56-footer, 1-1. Calling him Janik for most of the season until he dropped the bomb on us that it's actually Czech, and it's pronounced Yanok. Dylan Yanok out of Rice. VBL's Southern Division All-Star steps off the mound before he fires his 1-1. So Gilbert steps back in. The 1-1 to him is upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Gilbert, a right-handed hitter, hitting .290 so far this season. Only 31 at-bats. Has only played in 9 games. The 2-1 gets past Ochoa after a bounce, and it's 3 balls and a strike now. If Gilbert would reach, it'd be Henry Jamison, the 9-hole hitter. He's on deck. Slightly open stance for Gilbert. And he swings at the 3-1 and fouls it off right behind the plate. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes now.
Yeah, and if you're Yanok here, you really want to get out of this inning as quickly as possible and bring up that Tom Sox lineup. After scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the first, you're looking for them to capitalize again early on in this game.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it is. It's popped up, fouling out of play. We'll do it again, 3-2. That one was probably up out of the zone, but a good job by Gilbert to get a piece of it and stay alive.
Yeah, you know, they say with 2 strikes as a hitter, that box expands for you. You know, you don't want to be caught looking at a pitch if the umpire expands the zone a little bit, so good job there from the batter, Gilbert, to stay alive.
Another payoff pitch. This one's lined into right field, sinking fast, coming on, going into a slide to put it away, but no, he dropped it. Almost a great play by Jack Hurley out there, but just couldn't squeeze it, and it dunks in for a 2-out single for Ty Gilbert.
Yeah, great hustle out there in right field by Hurley, but just unable to make the sliding grab. It looked like the ball just got under his glove and slid under him. So unfortunate drop there for him. But hey, if you're Yannock, still got 2 outs, only 1 guy on. Still plenty of room to work with.
So 2 outs, and it's Henry Jamison, right-handed hitter. Even stance. And the first pitch to him, outside corner, strike 1. Good fastball there from Yannock. Yannock working quickly, has his sign, and is set at the belt. Long wait, and now the pitch misses low. Evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jamison, light hitting third baseman. He's only 5 for 41 at 122, the worst average on the team. 1 home run, 5 RBIs. 1-1 is nowhere close, up and away, 2-1.
Yeah, coming in today's matchup, the Tom Sox had a 10-4 all-time record over the Front Royal Cardinals, extending that to 11-4, and they've only lost 1 time here at Crutchfield Park, and that was once again at a doubleheader a few years ago. But today they were able to win the first game of the doubleheader, looking to sweep the series today.
2-1 waved at and missed. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yannock pulled the string on a good changeup. 2-2, 2 outs, 2-0 ball game, top of the second inning. Tom Sox lead after 2 runs in the bottom half of the first. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Freezes Jamison and gets his second strikeout of the day. The Cardinals get a hit with 2 outs but strand him at first base. And as we head to the bottom half of the second inning, the Tom Sox lead it 2-0. Cole Foster, R.J. Ochoa, and Jack Hurley due up for the Tom Sox, who lead at 2-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. Pierce Bennett led the game off with a double. He came around to score. And Adam Cesari came up with 2 outs and nobody on and launched his 4th home run of the season to right field. That all happened in the bottom of the first. 2 scoreless frames so far from Dylan Yannock. That's how we got here. Cole Foster takes the first pitch on the outside corner, 0-1. Foster, switch hitter, batting left. Who's an all-star this year for the Tom Sox. It's at .235 on the season in the 0-1. Off the outside edge. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's yet to leave the yard. He's got 9 RBIs, 7 doubles. The 1-1. Over the outer edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 7 doubles. Coming into today, had him tied for 7th in the VBL. Last game was the first game he did not play. And the 1-2's in the dirt. Evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Auburn Tiger.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, Cole Foster started the first 35 games of the season for the Sox. That currently places him tied for 10th all time. Unfortunately, that streak came to an end the other night, or the other inning, I should say.
He hits this one high and deep to right field. Going back is Gilbert. He's at the track, at the wall, and it's off the top of the wall. Foster jogs into second base with his 8th double of the season, and ties his teammate Logan Amos once again for the team lead. That ball very, very close to getting out and being his first home run of the season.
I like this little competition we have going on here between Cole Foster and Logan Amos. And if you're Coach Corey Kohler, you are more than happy with a little competition to see who can get the most doubles, as these two guys have been red hot as of recently. And perfect time to do it as we head to the playoffs.
Here's a man who has left the yard twice, and in his last 2 games to boot. 2 home runs in his last 2 games. It's R.J. Ochoa. He's behind the dish today. Right-handed hitter. Played under Coach Corey Kohler while he was at San Jac. Now he's at UT Rio Grande Valley. And he bats with Cole Foster on second, nobody out. Already 2 runs in for the Tom Sox this game. And he fouls the first pitch off behind the plate, 0-1.
Yeah, and Zach, before both these games today, as we talked about how proficient the Tom Sox offense has been, and a lot of that is due to clutch hitting. Coming in today, the Sox are batting .284 with 2 outs, .289 with runners on base, and a whopping .317 with runners in scoring position. So these guys have been perfect exactly when they need to be.
0-1, popped foul, first base side, no balls and 2 strikes on Ochoa, who has been leading the charge amongst these clutch hitters. Hit a 2-run home run last time he played. Did not play in the first half of today's doubleheader. We mentioned it in the first half of today's doubleheader. Only 6 at-bats, but still that 1833 OPS in those 6 at-bats. The 0-2 pitch to him is off the outside edge. 1-2 now on the Tom Sox catcher for the nightcap.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're behind the dish like Ochoa is today, there's no way they're going to put you in for a doubleheader. So luckily, he gets the first game off, and now he gets to play in the nightcap here in Game 2.
He waves at a pitch and strikes out on a ball in the dirt for the first out of the inning. So there's 1 out now after the Ochoa strikeout, and that'll bring up Jack Hurley, who's in right field for the Sox today.
Yeah, for Hurley this season, batting .222 in 15 games with the Sox, has not hit a home run just yet, but has notched 6 RBIs and 6 walks. So a chance for his 7th RBI here right now as Cole Foster waits on second base with just 1 gone.
Hurley bats from the left side of the plate, righty on lefty matchup. Holds the bat on his shoulder, and the first pitch to him is in the dirt, and it bounds away from Nico Armory and gets all the way over towards the Tom Sox on deck circle before Armory goes and picks it up. So advancing to third base is Cole Foster on that wild pitch, and now Hurley's got a runner 90 feet away with only 1 out.
Yeah, great chance for Hurley here, and basically what that does is instead of needing a hit to score the run, anything towards the outfield, if it's deep enough, can score the run. Or, if Hurley is able to get a hit here and bring home the 3rd Tom Sox run of the game.
Third baseman Jamison playing slightly in as Casa steps off the mound, takes a little stroll now, steps back on as he prepares to face the Virginia Tech Hokie, who is the member of the 2021 second-team All-Freshman All-America team. And he skies this one to left field, hooking foul, and tripping over the mound was Myers out there in left field as he went to make the catch. I think he would have made that catch, and it would have been a sac fly and an RBI for Hurley. But instead, Myers trips and falls over the mound out there in the bullpen, and the ball falls foul.
Yeah, and if you're the left fielder Myers there, it almost makes more sense to let the ball drop in foul territory, and because obviously if you make that catch, there's no way you're going to be able to throw out the speedy Cole Foster there. So luckily, with that trip, he doesn't hurt himself, able to keep staying in the game, and we'll go back 1-1 here.
Yeah, I'm sure the Cardinals would have loved an out, but they'll take not giving up a run as well, and another chance to get Jack Hurley out, who almost a swinging bunt back to the mound. Casa checks the plate, but opts to just go to first base as Foster got a good jump. They retired Jack Hurley 1-3, but Hurley picks up an RBI as Cole Foster comes in to score, and it works almost exactly like that sac fly would have, except it hurts Hurley's batting average.
Yeah, now that brings Will Safford here, who struggled a little bit with the Tom Sox, batting just 111. Looking to jump out of that.
He squares to bunt and tries to lay down a bunt for a hit, but taps it foul behind the plate. It's no balls and 1 strike. Third baseman Jamison is way up on the grass, a step or 2 on the grass.
Yeah, if you're Safford here, you're wondering if he's going to drop it down again. But as you mentioned, third baseman now playing in real tight. Now aware of the possibility of a drag bunt.
He's not bunting, and he tries to check his swing on the 0-1 pitch, but can't. And now he's way behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Tom Sox lead it 3-0 here, bottom of the second. The windup from Casa in the 0-2. Almost rings him up, but that pitch just a little bit off the outside edge.
Yeah, just off the corner there. Good pitch by Casa, and he wanted that one. He stood on the mound for a second waiting to get the call from the home plate umpire, but not quite.
1-2 now on Will Safford. Here's the pitch. Lined hard. One hop to first, and it gets underneath the glove of Brantley, who scrambles but can't get to it in time. And not sure if that one's going to be a hit or an error. Looks like they're going to give him a hit, I believe. Hey, he hit that ball really hard over to Brantley, and it took a bit of an awkward hop on him. So they're going to give Will Safford a hit on that one, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that. He's been struggling a bit hitting the ball as he was only down at 111, Dylan, like you mentioned. But he's on first base. Tons of speed over there. 2 outs and back to the top of the order for Pierce Bennett. Big lead for Safford at first. He's held on by Brantley and a move over by Casa. Safford back in, no problem. 3 runs already on Casa's line through 1 2/3 innings. Safford running first pitch, taken outside ball, throw down is not in time, and it bounds into center field. Safford's up and running for third. Krause can't pick it up cleanly, and Safford dives into third base safely without a throw. Steals second and reaches third on the throwing error. 1 pitch into Pierce Bennett's at bat, and all of a sudden the Tom Sox have a runner on third base with 2 outs here for the leadoff hitter.
And with that, the Tom Sox have notched their 100th stolen base this season. Wow, their previous record was, I believe, 69, and now they've absolutely surpassed that with a couple of games left to go. So great base running this season from the entirety of the Tom Sox lineup.
Well, 1-0 is top of the strike zone, 1-1, yeah, and that other season they had a real nice season stealing bases, but this season much better, 100.
Unheard of for this team, and that's something they're going to look to take into the playoffs, as any good base running can really throw off the momentum and mentality of a pitcher.
Pitch grounded softly to the right side. Diving to field this one is Kuda. Gets up and throws to first, but it's not in time to get Pierce Bennett, who singles and drives in Will Safford and extends the Tom Sox lead to 4-0 after his infield hit.
Yeah, great job there by Bennett to run that one out. I mean, a beautiful play at second base by Kuda, but unable to get the ball off in time to get the speedy Bennett at first.
And so that'll bring Braylon Skinner to the plate. 2 outs, man on first base for the Tom Sox. Already 2 runs in the inning. They lead it 4-0 here, bottom of the second. Second half of a doubleheader. First pitch to Skinner, misses low, 1-0. Tom Sox won the first game 7-2, and that improved them to 27-9 on the season. Dropped the Cardinals to 16-22. The 1-0. Swung on, tap foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big swing there from Braylon Skinner.
Yeah, and going into today's game, the Tom Sox, in 24 of their 35 games, were decided by 3 or more runs, and that's something they carried over into the morning game, the first half of this doubleheader, as you mentioned. So now in 25 of their games, they've been decided by 3 runs or more. Insane.
1-1 is hit on the ground to second base. Kuda fields, throws on to first base, and plenty of time to get Skinner and retire the side. But the Tom Sox score 2 again in the bottom half of the second inning and lead it 4-0 going to the third. Top of the third inning, Dylan Yannock's night is done. He goes 2 innings, strikes out 2, walks 2, gives up 1 hit, but doesn't allow a run to score. He gives way to Steven Restuccio here at the top of the third inning, with the Tom Sox leading 4-0.
Yeah, and for Restuccio, 21 innings pitched for the Sox this year and 7 appearances. Walked just 10 to 19 strikeouts, so good ratio there. And a 5.14 ERA, so a little high, but once again, as we've said time and time again, with the Sox lineup as hot and as good as they are, you can afford to give up a few more runs on average. Let's see what he can do tonight against the Cardinals.
Who will face the top of the Cardinals order. It'll be Trent Jeffcoat, Adarius Myers, and Nico Amory for the Cardinals here in the top of the third inning as they trail 4-0. Restuccio, the righty's first pitch. Outside corner with a fastball, no balls and a strike.
Yeah, interesting approach from Coach Corey Kohler here to take out Yannock after just 2 innings. Obviously gave up a few hits, but still pretty solid outing. But I'm sure with the 4-run lead, you can afford to be a little more creative.
The 0-1 is foul tipped into the glove of R.J. Ochoa, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on the Cardinals shortstop. Bounced out to second his first time up. And for Restuccio, I mean, he's had his outings where he has not pitched well. But he either pitches very well or doesn't pitch well at all. As the 0-2 is fouled back. He got lit up July 1st against the Generals. He went 3 innings, gave up 8 runs, 6 of which were earned, 8 hits. But then he has outings like the one before that, June 24th against Covington, where he went 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. He'll throw another 0-2 to Jeffcoat, and it's high and away, 1-2.
Yeah, like you said, been a bit of a mixed season there from Restuccio, hence some of the inflated numbers, like I mentioned, a 5.14 ERA. But the talent's there. Like you said, he's had a few good outings, and with a 4-run pad as he enters this game in the third, maybe a little more comfortable, can settle in a little bit, and maybe throw one of the better outings that he's had this season.
1-2 just misses outside, and it's 2-2. A good take there by Trent Jeffcoat. And his last outing was against those same Generals that roughed him up on the 1st of July. Was last Tuesday, and he went 2 innings and gave up 1 run. 2-2's up and away again, and the count's full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and walks have been an issue for Restuccio, but not too much. I mean, 10 walks in 21 innings isn't ideal, but it's not as problematic as we have seen from some other guys around the league. Here's a 3-2. This one's hit in the air. Left center field. Skinner and Bennett both over, and Skinner, after a little bit of miscommunication, makes the catch around the shins and falls to the ground as he puts that one away. But he puts it away nonetheless, and there's 1 out here in the top of the third.
Yeah, I think that was just a miscommunication, as you mentioned, between the center fielder Skinner and the left fielder Bennett, as it looked like Skinner almost thought that Bennett was going to make the call, but as a center fielder, that's your play, and fortunately enough, he's able to make it even after the miscommunication.
So Darius Myers now, with 1 out and the bases empty, will bat against Steven Restuccio. He walked his first time up and was caught stealing on a great throw from R.J. Ochoa. Righty-on-righty matchup in the first pitch. Swung on grounder right back up the middle through the 5-hole of Restuccio and into center field for a base hit. So Adarius Myers is aboard with a 1-out single. And it'll be Nico Amory now. Still a 4-0 Tom Sox lead here, top of the third inning.
Yeah, great hit there by Myers, lining that one right back at Restuccio, who has to do a little dance to get out of the way of that one, and just past the glove of a diving Will Safford at second. So a nice way to get the first base run of the inning for the Cardinals here.
So Amory now with 1 out and a man on first. Restuccio steps off before his first pitch to him. Amory was an all-star for the North Division. He went 0 for 3 in the all-star game. Throw over to first base. Back in, no problem. Faced, actually, Tom Sox Brady Kirtner in that all-star game, and he flew out to right field against Kirtner. He's riding a 6-game hitting streak right now. He walked his first time up. First pitch at the letters, no balls and a strike.
Yeah, great pitch there by Restuccio against the talented, as you mentioned, Amory.
Stuccio has his sign, now checks the runner at first base, and he throws over there, and it gets away from Cesari and bounds all the way down into the Tom Sox bullpen. Myers is at second, and he's not stopping there. He's rounding second and going to third as Safford picks it up all the way in the right field bullpen, and that's going to be a costly two-base error by Steven Restuccio, and he knows that that was not a good play as he slaps his glove before he gets the ball back from Will Safford.
Yeah, tough play there for Restuccio trying to get the runner at first there, Myers, but as they say in baseball and specifically pitching, short-term memory is your best friend. If Restuccio can forget about what just happened, focus on the batter here because you still got to focus on him before he can get out of the inning.
The 0-1 is swung on and missed, fooled Amory there with a good curveball, and it's no balls and 2 strikes now on the Cardinal backstop.
Yeah, Amory taking his time here against Restuccio, who's, like many of the Tom Sox players, trying to work fast, but
0-2 fouled away down the right field line. Count holds, no balls and 2 strikes. And Myers, does have speed over there. He showcased it on his way from first to third. But he hasn't been too successful stealing bases so far this season. He's got 4, yes, but he's also been caught 2 times. So maybe paying a little too much mind over there, especially with a 4-0 lead here in the top of the third. He's ready now, an 0-2 to Amory. And it hits him right above the numbers, and Amory flips his bat and will jog down to first base, and on an 0-2 pitch he tried to elevate the fastball and he ran it too far inside. There's runners on the corners now with 1 out for Ben Brantley.
yeah, I like what Restuccio was trying to do there, trying to get the swing out of the strike zone on the 0-2 count, but that one, as you mentioned, just goes flat and goes right into the shoulder blades, or between the shoulder blades of Amory there.
So middle infield looking for a double play as Brantley digs in. Trailing 4-0 here, top of the third. First pitch to the lefty is bounced foul first base side. Down into the Tom Sox bullpen. No balls and a strike. Stuccio's got himself in a little bit of trouble right now. Trying to work out of it. Yannick went 2 clean innings, struck out 2. Restuccio's 0-1. Swing and a miss, a nice looking changeup there. Had Brantley way out in front of it. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Brantley was hit by a pitch his first time up.
And as you mentioned, Yannick had 2 scoreless innings, so if, the Cardinals are able to bring across some runs here, you sort of start to wonder about that decision by Coach Corey Kohler to take him out after just 2 innings.
0-2 misses high. It's 1-2, and obviously we don't know anything, but Yannick, he did have a couple of walks. He worked a 3-1 count, then 2 to the 4th batter, Brantley, before hitting him. And he taps this one slowly to second. Safford charging. He tags Amory for 1. Go to first. In time, it's a double play. Heads-up play there by Will Safford to tag out Amory on his way to second before flipping over to Cesari to complete the double play and end the inning. So the Cardinals threaten but don't score. And as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Tom Sox still have a 4-0 lead. Eddie Isert to get things going here. Bottom half of the third inning against Jack Casa, who's out there for his third inning of work. He's already given up 4 runs. It's 4-0 Tom Sox. And the windup in the first pitch to Isert is on the outside edge. No balls and a strike.
Yeah, going back to the top of the third, great job there and great awareness, as you mentioned, by Will Savage to make the nice tag and throw on to first for the inning-ending double play.
The 0-1's tap foul back into the screen, and it's no balls and 2 strikes now on the NC State product. He grounded into a double play his first time up. That got Pierce Bennett across. It'll be Isert, Cesari, and Langford here, due up in the bottom of the third. The 0-2. Swung on and hit in the air, right center field, pretty well struck. Kraus giving chase. He's back at the wall where he puts this one away about a step or two in front for the first out of the inning. Isert gave it a ride, but to the deepest part of the yard, and he's retired.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier in the first game of this doubleheader, that Crutchfield Park has some of the largest dimensions out of anywhere in the Valley Baseball League, so definitely a pitcher-friendly park, and Eddie Isert definitely felt that one there, as that one just short of the warning track here in right center field.
That'll bring up Adam Cesari, who said poo-poo to your big dimensions last time up, and he hit an absolute bomb to right field, and he taps the first pitch foul down the first base line. 0-1.
Yeah, that one, it doesn't matter what field you play at. That one was long gone,
Yeah,
as you certainly mentioned on your call.
That probably would have gotten out of a handful of big league stadiums, too. That was a big league home run there from Adam Cesari, who takes the 0-1 breaking ball on the outside edge. And he's down in the count, 0-2. Tom Sox are putting some good swings on Jack Casa here so far today. The 0-2 misses low, 1-2. Even a lot of their outs have been loud. We saw Foster almost leave the yard. He hit the top of the fence. Isert just hit a ball a long way to right center field. Obviously, Cesari left the yard. He's down in the count. A ball and 2 strikes right now, though. And he hits this one a couple hops over to third base. That's Jamison. He fields, throws across. It's a high throw. Jumping up to get that one was Brantley. He tried to swipe and tag Cesari on his way down, but he missed him, and Cesari is aboard. I think that's going to go down as an error on the third baseman, Jamison. But regardless, Cesari is aboard on first base with 1 out for Wyatt Langford.
And Langford here, as you were probably about to mention, Langford has a 13-game on-base streak, looking to extend that, heading into, 14 games, I believe it's at now, no, 13, and flew out in his first at-bat, but looking to extend that here in the bottom of the third.
Takes a fastball on the yellow outside corner for the first pitch strike, 0-1. Mentioned he popped out his first time up. He also played last game. He's at first base. Tonight he's the designated hitter in the nightcap. The 0-2 is on the outside corner. Langford not a huge fan of that one. Or the 0-1, rather, was on the outside corner. And now it's 0-2 as Cesari leads off first. 4-0 Tom Sox, bottom half of the third inning. Righty on righty matchup and a throw over to first base. Cesari's back in. Cesari really not a threat to run over there at first base.
As you mentioned in the previous at-bat, when Cesari was up, the Tom Sox have hit Casa well, but also have just hit everyone well over the past recent stretch.
This one's on the ground to third. Jamison to second one. Relay on to first is in time, and it's a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, no one left. It'll be Kuda, Kraus, and Karras coming up in the top of the fourth inning with the Tom Sox leading 4-0.
And we are back here at Crutchfield Park in the top of the fourth. Wade Kuda up at bat against Steven Restuccio, who looks to continue his scoreless streak tonight, looking in his second inning of relief. First pitch high and inside on the off-speed pitch by Restuccio. Tom Sox for the first inning tonight, or in the second game of tonight's game, held scoreless. And this ball is lined into right center field, and that is going to drop right past the reaching arm of Will Safford for the leadoff hit by the Front Royal Cardinals.
Not hit particularly hard, but put in a very good place, and that one drops in for a single out in shallow right center field.
And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need to smack the ball to the fence every time. If you can just drop it, bloop it in between there, as he did right there by Kuda for the first hit of the game. And that'll bring Jack Krause to the plate here. Krause is 0 for 1 in the nightcap of today's doubleheader. Squaring to bunt, but pulls back, still called strike one on the outside corner by home plate umpire Mark Yoder.
It should be working. I'm sending it. Correct.
So Restuccio entering his second inning of work, giving up a base hit, 0-1 count here. Swing and a miss by Jack Krause for an 0-2 count. And Restuccio quickly has Jack Krause, the left-handed hitter, down 0-2 here.
Yeah, really good composure last inning by Restuccio to work after he gave up that error, which resulted in putting the runner on third with one out.
Yeah, as I mentioned then, short-term memory is a key for pitching staffs anytime in baseball. And as you just mentioned, Restuccio did a great job of that, able to focus after allowing the base runner Myers to go to third on that play. So 1-2 count here for Steven Restuccio against Jack Krause, the left-handed batter for the Cardinals. And this one is grounded, but foul past first base.
We've seen, too, these Front Royal batters really aren't going down without a fight. You can work them to 2 strikes, but they're not just going to give up. They put together good at-bats. And we've seen a couple Tom Sox do the same thing, too. But really impressed by the way these Cardinals are fighting and scrapping through these at-bats.
Yeah, that's something that doesn't always show up on the box score. Not always counts as a hit. You still may get out after doing that. But as we've said before tonight, the more pitches you can make a guy throw, especially when they're struggling, the better benefit for your pitching staff. So a reset here. Timeout was called after a ball from the bullpen rolls here. But now we are 1-2. Jack Krause, runner on first, and no one out here in the top of the fourth. And this one is fouled back behind the plate to the third base dugout of the Cardinals. And as we mentioned, beautiful crowd here, beautiful night here in Charlottesville, and all you Tom Sox fans can come out to Crutchfield Park the remainder of the season for free, thanks to our friends at Carter Bank & Trust. And this one is fouled off at the plate and not hung on to by R.J. Ochoa, so we will reset here 1-2 for Jack Krause.
Still battling. Really good at-bat here by Jack Krause, especially with a runner on base.
Yeah, as you mentioned just before, how great the Cardinals batters have done of fighting back and scrapping in these at-bats. And the 1-2 is outside. Fastball a little outside of the strike zone by Restuccio, and now the count evened up at 2-2 here. No one out here in the top of the fourth. Tom Sox lead 4-0, something they've done a lot recently, score early and score often. And the 2-2. This one is swung at, and it is fouled right past the pitcher's mound. Restuccio makes the play. Not in time, as the throw onto first is just late, as Jack Krause is able to leg out the infield single, and now Restuccio has runners on first and second with no one gone.
A little cue shot there up the third baseline that acted almost as a swinging bunt, and Restuccio did a good job of coming off the mound to get that one, picking it up and throwing it to first base all in one motion, but Krause got a good jump out of the box after he hit that one and was able to leg it out. So now some more trouble for Restuccio as there's first and second, nobody out here.
Yeah, but as we've mentioned tonight, the Tom Sox pitching staff has done a great job of working out of trouble. We saw that with both teams' bullpens in the first game, and now Restuccio in his first inning of work having to work around that error that he made himself. And now, after 2 bloop hits, we have 2 guys on, no one out for the 7-hole hitter, Casey Corus. Another ball goes past the bullpen. I'm sure the umpire's not too pleased with it. Looks like James Vaughn is warming out there in the right field bullpen for the Tom Sox, the right-hander out of Duke University.
So with the Tom Sox win in the first half of the doubleheader, they now have a 2.5 game lead on Strasburg for the number 1 overall seed.
And the first pitch is strike called on the outside part of the plate. Good pitch and good location there by Restuccio to get the first strike on the left-hander Karas.
Charlottesville at now 27-9, and Strasburg at 25-12.
0-1, and this is swung on, fielded at first by Cesare, throw into second in time, throw back to first. Not quite, the ball gets past the first baseman, and that is going to score the first Cardinal run of the game. As Wade Kuda comes around on that play. Great job on the field at fielding the ground by Cesare and flipping it to second, but pitcher got past Restuccio there and allowing the first Cardinal run of the game.
Yeah, Restuccio, a decent job there, or a very good job actually, of getting over and covering second or first base on the ball hit to the first baseman. But then when he stretched, the ball went off the tip of his glove, and it allowed the runner to come home from third base and score.
Yes, a little, great effort there by the Sox, but in the end, ends up scoring the first Cardinal run of the game. But like we've said before tonight, with the offensive lead that they've built up, Restuccio has a little bit of a cushion to work with, so even that mistake there does not necessarily mean the end of the world.
So those Express that I was talking about, they are in action tonight, just getting underway.
And the first pitch of this at-bat is fouled back behind the dish to the third base side.
They're in Winchester tonight. The Tom Sox, we mentioned it in Game 1, they have a chance to pick up a whole game and a half today. And then after this, the Tom Sox, they only have 3 games. Strasburg after tonight has 4 more.
Ty Gilbert at the plate here, fouling off the first pitch 0-1. And this one is lined to left center field, chasing the center fielder, Skinner back. Just shy of the warning track, able to make the catch for the second out of the inning. And scurrying back to first will be Casey Karas.
So if I do my math correctly, if the Tom Sox win tonight and the Express were to lose tonight, the Tom Sox would then have a 4-game lead with, or a 3.5-game lead, rather.
That sounds correct to me. I'll roll with that one. With 3 games left for the Tom Sox,
things would be looking good to get that top seed.
Exactly. First pitch, called strike on the right-hander, Henry Jamison. Jamison 0 for 1 today. Struck out back in the second inning, but looking to keep the top of the fourth alive here as the Cardinals scrap across 1 run so far, looking to add some more. 0-1 right over the plate. This one is fouled back behind first base, and that will bring the count to 0-2 here for Steven Restuccio, going up against number 5 for the Cardinals, Henry Jamison, the 9-hole hitter.
Probably the more important game, though, going on overall tonight is the Turks and the Generals. So those two teams are all locked up for the number 2 spot in the South Division.
And this ball is lined past third base, foul. And the count will say 0-2 here for Henry Jamison. Yeah, as you mentioned, the Tom Sox have locked up the regular season title for the Southern Division, but everything past that is a question mark. We know which teams will be in the playoff thanks to Covington canceling their season a few games early, but that, who plays who and where they play is still up for debate. 0-2 for Restuccio, comes set in the pitch, low in the dirt. Good stop there by R.J. Ochoa to keep the ball in front of him. And the count moves to 1-2 here.
Stanton is currently in that 4th spot. They would be slated to face the Tom Sox in the first round. But they're only a half game back of both Harrisonburg and Waynesboro, so they'll be tied with whoever loses tonight. And then they have 3 games left, and all of them are against Harrisonburg.
Nap 1-2, fouled back into the forest behind first base. And the count, once again, 1-2 here for Steven Restuccio up against Henry Jamison, the 9-hole hitter for the Cardinals here in the top of the 4th. 1 run across already. Cardinals looking to score some more. Restuccio comes set, checks back the runner, and the 1-2 inside in the dirt. Another great block behind the dish by Ochoa. As we've mentioned, he's done a great job this season on the offensive end, but he is not a slack behind the plate. He knows what he's doing. He's thrown out a couple runners, and great job blocking so far. Restuccio, the 2-2 now. Pitch, and this one is grounded to Cesare at first. Great job down to a knee to make the play. and that will retire the side. The Cardinals score 1 run and leave 1 runner on base. The Tom Sox will come to the plate leading 4-1. You're watching Tom Sox Baseball. We are back here at Crutchfield Park as the Tom Sox take on the Front Royal Cardinals in the second game of a 7-inning doubleheader. Tom Sox lead 4-1 as Cole Foster comes to the plate here. Cole Foster, as we mentioned, coming into today, had appeared in all 35 of the Tom Sox games. Did not make an appearance in the first game of today's doubleheader, ending that streak, but still, impressive run by the Auburn Tiger. Foster's first pitch, and he lines this one, grounds it to third base, and it just nicks off the glove of third baseman Henry Jamison. And Cole Foster will reach base with what I assume will be an error, but let's see what the official ruling is.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jamison let that ball play him kind of. It looked off the bat like it was hit a lot harder than it actually was. Then Jamison waited back on it, and it took a bit of a funky hop and nicked off the end of his glove. So definitely looks like an error to me.
Yeah, it went down to a knee there, as you mentioned, but unable to make the play. So if I was scoring the book, that's what I'd rule, but we'll wait for the official scoring. But either way, Tom Sox get their leadoff batter on base here, and that'll bring R.J. Ochoa, the power hitter for the Tom Sox, to the plate here with nobody out.
Ochoa struck out his first time up.
First pitch inside, ball 1. Casa's still out there for his 4th inning of pitching after giving up 4 runs through the first 2 innings, then settling down and throwing a scoreless third. Let's see what happens here in the 4th after getting the leadoff batter on. And the 1-0 is great play that time by the third baseman Jameson. Flips on to second, on to first, and the throw is wild as it runs into the Tom Sox dugout, and it looks like R.J. Ochoa is coming off limp. Looks like he may have hurt himself on that play. We'll wait and see, but he's currently on the ground grabbing what looks to be his left ankle.
Yeah, and that's not good for the Tom Sox. One silver lining is that behind the dish you at least got Cooper Ingle back today, but you never want to see anybody get hurt, and that's just a terrible sight to see, especially with how well he's been hitting. 2 home runs in his last 2 games. Made a great throw behind the plate today, so obviously you hope he's okay. Injuries are the last thing you ever want to see. But with that throwing error, I believe he would be on second base now.
It looks like the ball rolled into the dugout, but yes, obviously, as you mentioned, Ochoa, one of the great hitters for the Tom Sox so far this season. He's only been here a couple of games. This today being his 4th appearance, batting .333 heading into today with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Able to leg that one out, but it looked like as he crossed the bag, he came up limp, maybe hit his foot on the end of the bag, but it looks like he's going to run the bases. We'll have to keep an eye out on that one, but R.J. Ochoa staying in the game. The tough cookie there. He will stay on first and run for himself there is R.J. Ochoa, and we're so glad to see that he is okay. And that'll bring to the plate Jack Hurley. Hurley coming up for his 2nd time today. Had an RBI ground out back in the 2nd inning, scoring the 3rd run of the game, 1st run of that inning for the Tom Sox. First pitch outside off the corner for ball 1.
Yeah, and Hurley, a guy for the Tom Sox that, has been a pretty solid hitter so far. Struck out a decent amount. Almost made a nice play out there in right field, but it just squeaked out of his glove as pitch is fouled off. Hurley's only at 222, but he does have 17 strikeouts in those 36 at-bats, so almost 50% of the time he's striking out.
Yeah, we've seen that from a couple of the Tom Sox hitters and some of the guys you wouldn't expect. And it looks like R.J. Ochoa is going to come off the game, and we will see a pinch runner. It appears it will be Cooper Engel. Double check. Yeah, Cooper Engel is coming in as a pinch runner for R.J. Ochoa. With what looked like a right ankle injury, he's going to hobble off to the training staff. We're glad to see he was able to walk off on his own power. We'll have to keep any updates with you on the broadcast. But R.J. Ochoa coming out of the game. Cooper Engel coming in as a pinch runner here in the bottom of the 4th for the Charlottesville Tom Sox.
Yeah, and I assume that this will probably just be a straight sub, as we saw Engel behind the dish for the last inning of last game, and I'm sure you don't want to put Gary Giebel back there for a second game.
No, I'm sure it'll just be a straight-up sub, and that's what we mentioned. A great job the Tom Sox have done is they've had so many guys who are able to play so many different positions. Is even if you get someone hurt or someone's having a bad stretch of games, you're able to make a quick sub and hopefully right the ship before it gets too far down. So 1-2 count here against Jack Hurley, 1 gone in the inning. And this pitch is sent to left center field, and this one is going to carry. It's going to drop into the center fielder, and he will make the catch. And the runner on second, Engel, trips, still trying to make it to third, and the throw is off target. He's going to reach. So a little bit of a circus play there as Cooper Engel, pinch running for R.J. Ochoa, trips after rounding second, still able to make it to third. And Jack Hurley is in there with what I believe will be a single and advancing on the throw. So now the Tom Sox have runners on the corners with just 1 out here for Will Safford, the number 9 hitter.
I think the Tom Sox kind of lucked out that Krause opted to just try to throw that ball into third as opposed to hitting his cutoff man. I think if he hits his cutoff man there, Cooper Engel's stuck in no man's land, and that just emphasizes the importance of why you need to hit the cutoff man no matter how good of an arm you have, how good of an arm you think you have. It's so important to hit that cutoff man because you never know what can happen. There's no way he could have anticipated Cooper Engel the trip going around the base.
Absolutely. And just also showcases the great aggressive base running by the Tom Sox. Even after tripping, Engel got right back up and ran on to third. So now the Tom Sox have 2 runners in scoring position here as Will Safford comes to the plate. The first pitch outside for ball 1. 1-0 here to Safford. And time is called here right before Casa makes the pitch. So we'll reset here. 1-0, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. The Tom Sox lead 4-1, looking to get some more insurance here as they look to sweep a doubleheader from the Front Royal Cardinals on a beautiful Monday afternoon. The 1-0, low and outside for ball 2.
Yeah, the sun really not much of a factor whatsoever. Can't ask for much better weather than this. Not too hot, nice little breeze. Really just a beautiful day here in Charlottesville as the Tom Sox begin their last week of the regular season.
And this ball is lined to deep right center field. The center fielder chasing it back at the wall, able to make the catch, but on third will tag is Cooper Engel, and he's going to score with ease. As Will Safford laces one to deep right center field for a sacrifice fly, and now it is 5-1 Charlottesville Tom Sox.
Yeah, and a good job there by Jack Hurley, too, following and going to third base on that sac fly. That ball was hit well deep enough to right center field that there was no way he was going to get thrown out at third. So good heads-up base running to follow. And there's the importance of not hitting your cutoff man. It kind of just cost him a run because if he hits his cutoff man at the absolute worst, Cooper Engel is at second base. And you probably have runners on the corners right now instead of a run in and runner on third.
And Pierce Bennett takes the first ball low for ball 1. Absolutely, Zach. You got to emphasize the fundamentals, especially as we've said time and time again tonight. When you're playing a team that's as good as the Tom Sox, you cannot afford to make these mistakes, these simple mental errors. 1-0 count to Pierce Bennett. And this ball is lined to the shortstop. Throw on to first is in time. Good play there by Trent Jeffcoat to get the third out of the inning. So the Tom Sox score 1 run on 1 hit. And it is 5-1 Tom Sox as we head to the top of the 5th. You're watching Tom Sox Baseball. We are back from Crutchfield Park as we head to the top of the 5th inning. A couple of substitutions to report. Now catching behind the plate as an injury reserve for R.J. Ochoa is Cooper Engel, and on the mound is James Vaughn. So that'll do it for Steven Restuccio.
And his final line, he goes 2 innings, surrenders 3 hits, and that's about it. He hit a batter, no strikeouts, didn't walk anyone, gave up no runs. Sorry, I believe he gave up 1 run. Yes, he did give up 1 run, and it was earned. So not his best outing, but certainly has had worse as James Vaughn comes in.
Yeah, certainly a solid outing, and with that lead that they've built up, you can certainly have a mid-par outing. But as you mentioned, James Vaughn on the mound out of Duke University, making his 9th appearance for the Tom Sox, has thrown 17 innings, struck out 17 batters to just 8 walks, and that is to the tune of a 3.70 ERA. And up at bat for the Front Royal Cardinals this inning will be the number 1, 2, 3 hitters, Trent Jeffcoat, Adarius Myers, and Nico Amori.
So no Tom Sox pitcher has faced one of these batters twice so far here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Dylan Yannock went through the lineup one time, got back to the top of the order, and that's when Steven Restuccio came in. He went 2 innings, went through the lineup one time, and entered James Vaughn, the Duke Blue Devil.
Yeah, Vaughn done a good job with the Tom Sox so far this season, looking to continue that here against the Front Royal Cardinals as the train rolls by in right field, as we've mentioned. Vaughn comes set. And the first pitch, swing and a miss at a low pitch for strike 1. Vaughn pitching out of the stretch, even though no one on. Typical of a lot of relievers here in the VBL. As he faces Trent Jeffcoat, who is 0 for 2 so far today. Grounded out in the first and then flew out to center field back in the 3rd inning. 0-1 pitch is outside for ball 1.
Jeffcoat, first half of the doubleheader, scored the first run of today's game, but since then has yet to reach base 0 for the next 5 trips.
Vaughn looking to continue that here. Has him 1-1 even here. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. Vaughn comes set. And the 1-1. And this one is struck to deep right center field. Chasing it back is the center fielder Skinner. And they're going to watch as this one bounced off to the fence. And Trent Jeffcoat is going to stay at second base for a leadoff double. And the throw escapes past the second baseman, but no advance on the play. So beautiful double out there in deep right center field for the leadoff hitter, Trent Jeffcoat.
And there's some advertisement signs out there, and that one drilled one of the advertisement signs on a fly. That ball was really well struck, and in most ballparks probably would have gotten out. We talked about how cavernous these outfields are at Crutchfield Park, and you hit it to the right center field alley, you got to hit it a long way. And he did not get that quite enough, but almost put that one out. Regardless, they got the leadoff runner on board as they look to answer the Tom Sox.
Yeah, that one did not miss by much. A strong gust of wind may have blown that one over for the first home run of the game today, but I'm sure Trent Jeffcoat will certainly take a leadoff double, and now Adarius Myers will come with 1 man on, no one out here in the top of the 5th inning. Cardinals looking to come back from a 5-1 deficit. First pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1. Good grab there by Cooper Engel. Engel, as we mentioned, came in as a pinch runner in the bottom of the 4th for R.J. Ochoa, who came up limp after running out in fielder's choice back in the bottom of the 4th. We'll give any updates if they come about R.J. Ochoa. But Vaughn comes set. 1-0 pitch. Checks back the runner. And this one is check swing, but it stays fair, and Cesari will take that one to first, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Will work almost as a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, advances the runner to third base, and not what Adarius Meyer was looking for, but he'll take it, moves the runner to third base, and at this point in the game, we're more than halfway home. I'm sure the Cardinals are looking to play for more than 1 run, but the meat of the order up, we'll see if Nico Amori can drive in a run and extend his hitting streak, as looks like Tom Sox are bringing the middle infield halfway and the corners up.
Amori, as you mentioned, looking to extend his hit streak. He's been on base twice today, a walk in the first and then was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd. And this one grounded back to the first baseman, Cesari, checks back the runner at 3rd and makes a nice play. Good heads-up play there by Adam Cesari.
Really, really good play by Adam Cesari. It looked like Jeffcoat was breaking home, and what Cesari did was he just looked at him. He knew he had time to beat Amori to the bag, so he just stared at Jeffcoat, got him to run back to third base. Didn't try to force a throw to third base and throw across the diamond. Instead, just runs over to first base, steps on the bag, and gets the out. Keeps Jeffcoat at third base. Now there's 2 outs, and you need a hit or an error to bring the guy in.
And that'll bring up to the plate Ben Brantley, the first baseman, lefty hitter for the Cardinals. He grounded out into a double play, a 4 unassisted 3 double play back in the 3rd inning, looking to bring across the second Cardinals run of the game. James Vaughn looking to throw across his first scoreless inning of the game today here in the top of the 5th. First pitch, and this one is in the dirt again. Going back to what you said, Zach, those are plays that are not going to show up in the box score, not going to make any highlight reel, but great heads-up play there by Cesari to check the runner back, making sure Jeffcoat didn't break, and then getting the easy out at first.
Yeah, that's what I like to call a winning play.
And the 1-0 is laced to right field, but that is going to go towards the bullpen. Foul. If you've made it out to Crutchfield Park, there's a forest covering most of the deep right center field and then behind the first base side of the field. A lot of foul balls lost past there. But now we are 1-1 here with James Vaughn looking to escape. Runner on third jam here, top of the 5th, 1-5. The Tom Sox lead the Cardinals. James Vaughn, the 1-1 pitch. Whoa. The batter Brantley thought about swinging but held up in time, so that'll be a 2-1 count here for James Vaughn.
Cooper Ingles doing a really good job behind the plate, keeping these balls in front of him. It's not easy to do, especially as a catcher, to come into the game and be blocking balls like he is, but he's doing a really solid job, especially after missing all the time he did.
The 2-1 fouled off behind the press box for strike 2. Yeah, absolutely. Not only was he not prepared to come into this game because of the injury, but this is his first game back since, I believe, mid-June. So this is his first time being in a Tom Sox uniform, and he's done a great job, as you mentioned, so far, blocking the balls from James Vaughn, the hard-throwing right-hander. So we got 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here for Ben Brantley, the left-handed hitter. And the pitch just on the outside corner. See you later. James Vaughn strikes out his batter, ends the inning, and the Cardinals strand a runner at third here as we head to the bottom of the 5th. The Tom Sox lead 5-1. You're watching Tom Sox Baseball. There you go. And we are back here at Crutchfield Park in the bottom of the 5th. Tom Sox lead 5-1 over the Front Royal Cardinals. Won game 1 of the doubleheader, 7-1, and now looking to sweep the series tonight. And that'll bring Braylon Skinner to the plate here. The Mississippi State product goes down swinging on strike 1.
Skinner, so far today, is 1 for 2. I got the chance to talk with him before the game a little bit about the College World Series.
As that ball is low in the dirt for 1-1 count here.
And he was telling me about scoring that winning run. He said it was a dream come true and something that he and his buddies had dreamed about for a long time.
This ball is short, grounded to second base. Great play by the second baseman, and it is in time, but it is dropped. Great play there by Kuda, the second baseman for the Cardinals. In on time, but will almost definitely go down as an error as Braylon Skinner is able to leg out the first Tom Sox base run of the inning.
Yeah, that one was just straight up dropped by the first baseman, and that's That's one of those when I'm throwing with my friends and they just drop a ball and I say, my fault, I didn't mean to hit you in the hands. That one was right there, should have been caught. He's going to tell you that should have been caught. And that's one as a player that you just got to forget about, move on, and get the next one because there's nothing you could do about it now.
And the next one for the Cardinals will be Eddie Isert out of NC State, also mentioned playing in the College World Series. He's 0 for 2 today, and the first pitch swung and a miss for strike one.
So more about Skinner, just when he obviously talking about the run against Texas that walked off Texas and moved them to the College World Series finals. As soon as I mentioned it, his face just absolutely lit up. You could tell he was excited to talk about it.
As the 0-1 is lined into shallow center field, and it's caught by the center fielder Kraus. Running back to first is Skinner, as you mentioned.
He said that he thinks that he can bring in kind of leadership of just being a good teammate. He thinks he's learned that, and I talked to his teammate as well from Mississippi State, Parker Stinnett, and he said, you know, there's probably things that he learned that he really hasn't realized quite yet that he learned because he hasn't been able to put them to use. So hopefully, if you are a Tom Sox fan, that these two guys that have this championship pedigree, along with Jake Haney, who won the 2019 VBL championship, can kind of help this young Tom Sox team.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those Mississippi State kids, a very quick turnaround. We weren't sure if we were going to see them here in the blue uniforms, but luckily for Tom Sox players and fans, we can see him here for the rest of the season. And Adam Cecere is up here. First pitch outside, stealing is Skinner, and he is going to be safe in time. Great job there by Skinner for stealing another base with the Tom Sox. And now, man on second here with only one gone for Adam Cecere.
Yeah, Braylon Skinner came in and wreaked havoc on the bases in the first half of the doubleheader. He came in for Christian Worley as a pinch runner and stole second base.
And one thing we've mentioned time and time again tonight is that the Tom Sox are not afraid to steal even if they have a big lead. You can never put up enough runs in the VBL, and they are sure testing that theory tonight. And the 1-0 to Cecere is fouled off to left field, and this is out of play, as some fans are going to, a couple kids go and chase that one down.
Cecere coming in a clean 20 for 50. 1 for 2 today. Had that long home run back in the first inning. And reached on an error in the third.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss by Cecere, 1-2.
He was swinging for another home run there.
Yeah, you said 20 for 50. I think the more impressive way to say that is he's batting .400 since coming to the Tom Sox, and that is outstanding numbers and something that they will definitely look to capitalize on as they head towards the playoffs starting this weekend. 1-2 here to Cecere. Casa comes set. Skinner steals base again, and this one is hit. This one hits the base runner Cecere, and Skinner must return back to second base. But even though he is forced back to second, the Tom Sox now have two base runners on with only one out for one of their best hitters, Wyatt Langford.
Yeah, that was almost not fortunate for Front Royal because he put a runner on base, but Skinner undoubtedly was going to swipe third base. He had a great jump off of second base there, and he was going to be in third base easily. And that ball bounded away from the catcher, Amory, too. So there's really no saying how far Skinner would have gone. But now you got first and second with Langford up. He's already bounced into one double play, so you're sure that Casa's looking for another.
Casa first pitch high inside to Wyatt Langford. Yeah, you hate to say that you got bailed out by a hit by pitch, but it almost seems like that was the case as you mentioned, Skinner was almost definitely going to have that third base stolen. But anyways, now there are runners on first and second, one gone, and Wyatt Langford at the dish here for the Tom Sox. And this pitch, swing and a miss by Wyatt Langford. He was looking to swing for the fences on that one.
Big rip at that one for Langford, whose 13-game on-base streak is in jeopardy here. So this could be the last chance he gets to extend it.
Yeah, unfortunately with these 7-inning games, you don't get as many at-bats. Langford looks at this one. Strike two called by home plate umpire Mark Yoder. And now Tom Sox 1-2 count here for Wyatt Langford. One man out, two men on. We have Adam Cecere at first, Braylon Skinner, the national champion, at second base. And the Tom Sox looking to add some more insurance here in the bottom of the fifth. This pitch swung at and fouled back behind the dish by Langford. So Langford resets here, and I don't know, I haven't talked to him about this, but you got to think this on-base streak is on his mind at least a little bit as he comes to the dish here. 13 games, incredibly impressive over the course of the season, and looking to extend that tonight, as you mentioned. is 0 for 2 so far in today's game, looking to extend that to 14 here in the bottom of the fifth. The 1-2, Casa comes set. Checks Skinner back at second. And the pitch, both runners are stealing, and this one is laced into deep left center field, and that is going to drop. Great base running there by Skinner. He's going to round third and come home. Coach Kohler is sending home Adam Cesari, and Wyatt Langford is in with a 2 RBI double, extends his on-base streak to 14 games, and the Tom Sox are leading 7-1 here in the bottom of the fifth.
Great piece of hitting there by Wyatt Langford to keep his hands inside on an off-speed pitch and hit it down the left field line. Not a very great play in left field by Adarius Myers, who let the ball bound past him and roll all the way to the wall. But regardless, I think Langford was probably going to get into second base, and both runs were going to score, whether he cut that ball off or not. So Langford, great piece of hitting, the 2 RBI double, and Tom Sox 7-1 lead now.
Yeah, Tom Sox 7-1, reminiscent of the first half of this doubleheader, and now that brings Cole Foster to the plate. Foster bats with a runner in scoring position, and this ball is high for ball one. Foster so far today, 0 for 1, reached on an error back in the fourth, and then in the second got a double, and then later scored for one of the Tom Sox 7 runs so far today. And the Tom Sox today looking for their 4th straight sweep of a doubleheader as they look to take the second game from the Cardinals. This ball low in the dirt. Wyatt Langford thinks about running, but wisely goes back to second. So now 2-0 here for Cole Foster, as we mentioned. Came into today appearing in 35 Tom Sox games. An impressive, tied for the 10th most all-time for the Tom Sox. Unfortunately, did not play in the first game, but making his 36th appearance in tonight's nightcap. And this one is laced down the first base sideline, right past the first base coach for strike one. So 2-1 count here to Cole Foster, the Auburn Tiger. And Casa still in this game, though. Looks like there is some action out in the Cardinals bullpen. A right-hander starting to warm up. Looks like they looking for a replacement for Casa after going 5 innings. Did a pretty good job of at least extending his innings and limiting the action of the bullpen. 2-1 count is outside. Ball 3 for Cole Foster.
Around the league right now, River Bandits beating the Cannons 3-0. Turks are beating the Generals 2-0. That's one that is a big game out there in Waynesboro. And Express and Royals still tied up 0-0 that game in the bottom of the third.
And this ball is fouled off behind home plate back into the parking lot. And we'll start again. 3-2 count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out to the 6-hole hitter, Cole Foster, the Auburn Tiger, with runner on second base. Tom Sox leading 7-1, looking to extend their lead here as they try to sweep a doubleheader from the Front Royal Cardinals. Pitcher Jack Casa gets his sign, comes set. No one holding on Langford at second base, and the pitch, and this one is fouled right back. And we'll do it again.
Casa just hasn't quite had that put-away pitch so far today. Only 1 strikeout through 4 and a third innings. That was when he got R.J. Ochoa back in the second. Just hasn't had the pitch to either bury a breaking ball in the dirt to get the guys to chase, or enough velocity on his fastball to put one past him upstairs, or fool him on an outside corner fastball. Kind of searching for that so far today in his first appearance in the Valley League.
And the full count once again, line back behind the plate into the parking lot.
And that's evident with these guys fouling off a bunch of pitches. We see Cole up here fouling off a couple 3-2 pitches. We've seen other guys in their at-bats being able to battle and not go down on strikes. So really, as a pitcher, it's pretty important to have that one pitch that if you need a strikeout, you can rely on it pretty consistently. And so far today, Jack Casa just has not really had that pitch working for him so far.
Yeah, and if you're the pitching coach for the Front Royal Cardinals, one takeaway from this is at least Casa was able to eat up some innings for you, as he's right now a third of an inning through the 5th inning, as you start to have some work out in the bullpen, but if nothing else, able to eat up some innings, give your bullpen somewhat of a night off here. The full count once again. This one is swung at and missed by Cole Foster, caught by the catcher Amori, and that is the second out of the inning.
And there is that put-out pitch. It looks like he went to a changeup there on 3-2 and got Foster to swing over the top of it. And Foster frustrated as now there is going to be a mound visit, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change.
And that looks like it'll be it for Jack Casa, the Cardinals' starting pitcher. And the final line for Casa here is 4 2/3 of an inning, 8 hits, 7 runs, only 4 of them earned, 0 walks, and 2 strikeouts, facing 24 batters. So he'll walk off the field to a barrage of high fives from his teammates. And as soon as we have an update, we'll be back. Casa is out. Corey Shields from Waterford, Pennsylvania, out of Mercyhurst College, is on. Zach, what do you got for me?
It's been a rough go of it so far this season for Corey Shields. 7 games, 4 starts. This is appearance number 8 for him. 15 in the third innings, 17 walks, 15.26 ERA.
Wow, and that's one thing we mentioned going into today's doubleheader, how good the Cardinals' hitting was and how streaky, or some would say poor, their pitching has been. So for Shields here, just looking to keep the deficit where it is, as Cooper Engel will come to the plate here. Engel came in as an injury replacement as a pinch runner back last inning in the 4th here with a runner on second and 2 out for the Tom Sox in the bottom of the 5th.
He's given up 27 hits in addition to those 17 walks in just 15 and a third innings. Only 13 strikeouts, too. I mean, just not much working for him so far. He's 0-4 this season.
And the 0-1 is fouled off. Back into the parking lot once again.
Not that you want to consider this mop-up duty, but it is 7-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So running out of outs.
Yes.
For a guy that struggled, not much to worry about here.
Yeah, for the Tom Sox, only 2 more innings. They only need to get 6 more outs before they sweep this doubleheader. And the 0-2 pitch is way outside by Shields as Cooper Engel resets. 1-2 count here, 2 gone. On second base is Wyatt Langford, who drove in 2 runs just a couple batters ago with a single and then advancing on a throw. So the Tom Sox looking to sweep their 4th straight doubleheader here tonight at Crutchfield Park. And you can make your way out to the next Tom Sox game at Crutchfield Park for free, thanks to Carter Bank and Trust. An angled swing and a miss at the one in the dirt, and hung on to by the catcher Amory, and that'll be it. The Tom Sox scored 2 runs here in the bottom of the 5th. We leave 1 man on, and we head to the top of the 6th, up 7-1 Tom Sox. You're watching Tom Sox Baseball. We're back from Crutchfield Park as the Tom Sox lead the Front Royal Cardinals 7-1. James Vaughn back on the mound for the Tom Sox. I'll throw it to you, Zach.
Thank you, Dylan. 7-1, as you mentioned, top half of the sixth inning. Tom Sox fans want to see the sixth inning ride, as they call it, here at Crutchfield Park. Scoreless sixth. Big promotion here at every Tom Sox home game. And you can come to every Tom Sox home game completely free, thanks to Carter Bank and Trust, who's sponsoring free admission and parking to all Tom Sox home games all season long. To face James Vaughn this inning, it'll be Wade Kuda, Jack Krause, and Casey Karras. 5, 6, and 7 for the Cardinals. Vaughn came on in the fifth and worked around a leadoff double. He's set at the belt. Long look, and the first pitch is low and in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, that ball in the dirt, and a great job once again by Cooper Engel, something we mentioned last inning when Vaughn was pitching. A lot of balls in the dirt and a lot of nice plays back there by Cooper Engel.
The lights are on here at Crutchfield Park as the sun goes down. The 1-0 to Vaughn. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Beautiful pitch there by Vaughn. Regained his control to make that 1-0 pitch right in down the zone to get the swing and miss from the batter, Kuda. 1-1 count.
Vaughn usually works very methodically. And he comes home with a 1-1 now, and that's low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Looks like the Tom Sox have a righty pitching down in their bullpen. No one throwing for the Cardinals down the left field line.
James Vaughn, one of the longest tenured Tom Sox, has been here this season for quite a while. I know our Lauren Nilsson has a story coming out with James, I believe this week.
2-1 is cut on and missed. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. So warming up down for the Tom Sox is Ethan Martinez. Martinez is out of USC Lancaster.
Yeah, it seems as though if James Vaughn can escape this inning cleanly, maybe it'll be his to finish. But if not, Martinez, as you mentioned, right behind him to hold the game here, 7-1.
Vaughn finally ready. Here's a 2-2, and it runs inside and runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wade Kuda. It's 1 for 2 today. Struck out looking back in the first, singled in the fourth, came around to score. Tom Sox lead at 7-1 here, top of the sixth. Second half of a doubleheader. They won the first half 7-2. These games being played after rainouts from earlier in the season. Vaughn's payoff pitch is swung on and hit off the end of the bat, out shallow right field. Safford goes back and puts this one away, no problem, for the first out of the inning.
And as we mentioned back last inning when the Cardinals were up there, obviously it can try to be a little bit patient here, not too aggressive, but right now you got 5 outs left and a 6-run deficit to surmount. So running out of time here if you're the Cardinals hitter, you got to get something going here against a hard right-hander.
So with 1 out, trying to get that going is Jack Krause. He's also 1 for 2 today. Flew out to center to lead off the second and singled back in the fourth. Was erased on a fielder's choice, though. Bats from the left side of the plate, and the first pitch to him is low and inside. These games were originally supposed to be played June 16th. Rain and lightning in the Charlottesville area had them rained out, though. Rescheduled all the way to today, July 19th, starting the last week of the season. The 1-0 is hit on the ground foul, first base side, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, I was actually on broadcast for that game, and we actually got through a couple of innings here at Crutchfield Park before it was taken away. That starter in that game was Alex Ayala for the Tom Sox. Ayala was drafted last week in the MLB draft, good for him, by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 9th round, one of 7 Tom Sox players that were drafted back last weekend by the MLB.
1-1 is outside, 2-1. We saw another 2021 Tom Sox get drafted. That was Carlos Rodriguez. He only pitched 1 game for the Tom Sox, but he was taken off the board as well. 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Yeah, and for these VBL players that were in Charlottesville, getting to play a couple games with Carlos and Alex, getting to watch their mentality, how they prepare for every game, and then watch them succeed and live out their dreams is absolutely perfect motivation as these guys try to head back to their own colleges and maybe make it to the MLB one day.
Vaughn's 2-2 is outside, and the count's full 3-2, and we saw current Lumberjack get drafted. Trendon Craig. But he is currently committed to NC State. He was drafted in the 20th round. Whether he signs or not, who knows. But could be the teammate of Eddie Isert next year. Payoff pitch, and that's low, ball 4. A one-out walk for Jack Krause, so he's aboard. For Casey Karras. 7-1 Tom Sox lead. Top half of the 6th inning. Second game of a doubleheader. Casey Karras, 0 for 2 in the second half of this doubleheader. He was 1 for 4 in the first half. RBI double way back around 3 o'clock when we first got this thing going. Here we are almost 5 hours later. Digs in 0 for 2 in the nightcap. Takes the first pitch outside, 1-0.
Yeah, for Vaughn here, obviously you got the lead pad behind you, a 7-1 lead, but still got to focus here on the batter and get some outs as you try to complete your second scoreless inning of work.
Mark Yoder just said something to Coach Corey Kohler from behind the plate, and Corey's having a couple words with him now as Vaughn comes set at the belt with a 1-0. Long look in. Now comes home. Runner goes. Pitch swung on and lined into left field. That's going to hang up for Pierce Bennett. He's going to make the long throw from left field back to first base, and it's in time! Oh, an unbelievable throw from left field by Pierce Bennett on one hop to his Wake Forest teammate Adam Cesari to double up Jack Krause at first base and end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the scoreless 6th rides on here at Crutchfield Park. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. It's 7-1 Tom Sox. Jack Hurley set to lead things off here, bottom half of the 6th inning. Tom Sox lead the Front Royal Cardinals by a score of 7-1 here in the nightcap of a doubleheader after winning the first game 7-2. I'm Zach Lambert, joined by Dylan Castaigne. Got a couple of defensive changes. Gabe Sherman checks into the game. He comes in for Henry Jameson, who finishes 0 for 2. But he moves to second base, and then moving, his first pitch to Hurley's grounded foul, first base sign. Then moving from second to third is Kuda. So the new infield behind Shields is Kuda at third, Jeffcoat at short, Sherman at second, and Brantley at first. Everybody else stays the same. Jack Hurley down in the count, no balls and a strike. And the pitch is inside, 1-1. So, mentioned Henry Jameson, 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out to first. As for Jack Hurley, he's 1 for 2 so far. He takes the 1-1 outside, 2-1. Grounded out to first or to the pitcher in the second inning, but drove in a run and singled in the fourth. He bats for the third time today. On the left side of the plate, righty on lefty matchup, 2-1. Curveball's upstairs. 3 balls and a strike.
And with as many runs as the Tom Sox have scored today, they have yet to notch their first walk. And that's something going in today they've done a lot of. You know, one of the best teams in the league, 196 walks, good enough to tie for third in the VBL. So even with 0 walks in tonight's nightcap, still scoring 7 runs through 5 innings.
And with that being said, Jack Hurley takes low, ball 4, and walks. So the
Just
first
kidding.
walk of the day for the Tom Sox is how they lead off the bottom of the 6th inning, and Will Safford, the 9-hole hitter, bats now. Walks up to Olivia Rodrigo, blaring over the PA system. And Logan Amos is liking it down in the dugout.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of impressed with my base on balls call there, I'm not going to lie. I thought that was kind of magical.
First swing by Safford, fouled back 0-1. It was a very timely by you, Dylan.
Safford looking for a timely hit here. What would be a second of the day, had a single back in the second inning and then later scored on an RBI from Pierce Bennett.
Hurley on first base, threat to run. He's got 4 steals. Hasn't been caught yet. We know the Tom Sox don't stop running because of the score. Coach Kohler does not coach to the score. The 0-1 misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike to the LSU Tiger. Pierce Bennett's on deck. Second baseman Sherman playing kind of at regular depth rather than double play depth. Jeff Coates at double play depth at short. A 1-1 misses. Upstairs, 2 balls, 1 strike. Center fielder Krause a few steps into right center. Nothing major though. Everybody else straight up. Myers pretty shallow in left. 2-1. High, 3 balls and a strike, and in danger of walking another one. And this is something that coming in the Cardinals really struggled with, was walking batters. And to Casa's credit, I mean, he didn't pitch particularly well, but he didn't walk anybody. He was making them hit the ball. Tom Sox just did it. 3-1's high, ball 4. So on cue, after no walks, back-to-back walks to start the 6th inning, and it's first and second. Nobody out for the top of the order, Pierce Bennett.
Yeah, and for the Tom Sox, as you mentioned earlier, they're not afraid to pour their run-ons. When they win their games, they're averaging over 8 runs a game, which is very impressive and a very good reason as to why they're currently number 1 in the South Division and number 1 in all of the Valley Baseball League.
Front Royal pitching had walked 228 batters coming into Game 2. Bennett first pitch swinging, soft line drive to center field, and it's going to get down in front of Krause out in center field. He played it very well, where he acted like he could have caught the ball even though he knew he had no chance. And that was just to freeze Hurley from going home. Hurley had to stop halfway between second and third to make sure it dropped. It did drop. Pierce Bennett's got his 3rd hit of the day, and the bases are full of Sox for Braylon Skinner.
Ian Skinner here looking to notch his 2nd hit of the game also, as well as Pierce Bennett, as we just mentioned. Had a single back in the 1st inning, looking to possibly get an RBI on the board here as the 2 guys are in score position.
Zach Lemus is going to come on and pinch run for Pierce Bennett. So Bennett's day done. He goes 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI. So good second half of the doubleheader for him. And played pretty well in the first half too. Had a double, an RBI, scored a run, hit by a pitch. Pretty solid all-around day for Pierce Bennett as he heads to the bench for Zach Lemus, who's on first base. Braylon Skinner bats now, bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom of the 6th, and takes the first pitch. Change up in the dirt, 1-0. 7-1 Tom Sox here. They're looking to add on.
And as we mentioned, the Tom Sox in their previous 2 games won both of them via mercy rule, a new rule implemented here in the VBL.
1-0's outside, 2-0.
But that will not be the case here tonight. As we mentioned, a 7-inning doubleheader, so that rule is in effect, or excuse me, not in effect, as the rule implies 10 runs or more after the 7th inning. But as we are only playing 7 tonight, we are going to wait this one out.
Braylon Skinner awaits the pitch, and that's low. 3 balls and no strikes now to the Mississippi State Bulldog. Another College World Series participant, Eddie Eisert, stands on deck.
I have to imagine those two guys have shared stories, especially with how NC State's season ended. I'm sure these guys have chatted about what the experience was like getting to play in front of the fans in Omaha.
3-0, finds the outside corner. Caught a little bit of black there, much to the chagrin of Braylon Skinner, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Shields ready. Kicks and deals the 3-1. Big swing, and this one's flared out behind third base. Everybody's going out, and it's going to be caught by the third baseman, Kuda. A triangle of Cardinals out there converged on the ball. Myers, Jeffcoat, and Kuda all collapsed into one spot, but Kuda went back and got it.
And a good job there on the base pass by Jack Hurley to try and fake out the third baseman, Kuda, into making a bad throw, but scampers back to third base, and now bases loaded with only 1 out.
So Eddie Eisert now up to bat. Bases loaded, 1 out. 6-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th, and they're knocking on the door for more. Shields trying to work out of danger. The first pitch runs inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
And I know we've certainly mentioned this on past broadcasts, so I'll make this quick, but I'm a big fan of how the VBL lets players wear their college helmets this year because of COVID. Add some personality, and I just can't stop saying it, mostly when Eddie Eisert comes up, because I love the bright white of NC State's outfit.
And bright white does look clean as the 1-0 is fouled back into the fence. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Eisert so far today in that bright white helmet is 0 for 3. A couple of flyouts to center. Grounded into a double play in the first inning, which is when Pierce Bennett scored. 1-1 off the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, the phrase is look good, play good, but, I guess for Eddie Eisert here today, not quite the case, but definitely enough time to break out of that as he has bases loaded here with just 1 gone.
Eisert on top of that clean white helmet with the red brim. Rocks the red Evo Shield shin guard and red Evo Shield elbow guard. The white batting gloves and the long white sleeve on his right arm. Has a open stance and holds the bat just below his ears. 2-1 on the inside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and I think that's one that Eisert would like to have back because that's a pitch he could have done a lot of damage with.
Yeah, they say most at-bats you get maybe 1 pitch that you can actually, put some good wood on, and that one was right down the plate there for Eisert.
2-2 is lined into shallow left field. Coming on is Myers, goes into a slide to pick that one, and he caught it. And he makes a strong throw home, but it skips past Nico Amory, coming to the plate, fielded by the pitcher behind home plate, throwing to Amory at home and in time to get Jack Hurley. Great backup there by Shields behind home plate as the throw goes awry. And Mark Yoder talking to both benches here after that play at home plate. So Tom Sox load the bases with no outs but do not score, and I think Yoder just warned both benches after an awkward play. A sinking line drive that was caught in left field by Myers on a dive, got up through home. The ball squirted past Nico Amory, and that's when Jack Hurley decided to try to run home, but good backup by Shields. Got it to Amory in time. And that is how the bottom of the 6th ends as we go to the top of the 7th. Tom Sox are 3 outs away from a doubleheader sweep. They lead it 7-1. Lots of defensive changes here at the top half of the 7th inning. Most importantly, Preston Allen comes in to pitch, and he'll face Tay Gilbert, Gabe Sherman, and Trent Jeffcoat, 8-9-1 here in the top of the 7th inning as the Tom Sox lead 7-1. Some other defensive changes. Well, Zach Lemus stays in the game. He goes to second base. First pitch, fastball from Allen is in there, strike one. Moving from second base to center field is Will Safford, and then moving from center field to left field is Braylon Skinner. 0-1, breaking ball just off the inside corner, 1-1. So the new outfield is Skinner, Safford, and Hurley from left to right, and then Lemus is at second base. Pitch hit on the ground, foul. Ball and 2 strikes now on Tay Gilbert, who is 1 for 2 so far today, singled in the second.
Yeah, and with that spells the end of the day for James Vaughn, who pitched 2 scoreless innings for the Sox, only giving up 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So a solid outing today for the right-hander out of Duke University.
The 1-2 pitch is cued foul over towards the Tom Sox dugout, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Tay Gilbert. Preston Allen works from the windup, and his 1-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball blown right past him. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Good fastball from Preston Allen. Sets down Tay Gilbert, and that'll bring up Gabe Sherman.
Yeah, for Preston Allen this year, he's entering his 18th inning, so coming in today, 17 innings pitched, 10 walks to just 5 strikeouts, so a little bit of a struggle there, and that's to the tune of a 7.94 ERA, so gotten roughed up a little bit in the VBL, but looking to right the ship today against the Front Royal Cardinals.
His first pitch to Gabe Sherman misses low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Sherman, this is his first at-bat. He came in as a defensive replacement last inning, and he swings through the 1-0 pitch. It's a ball and a strike. One ball and 1 strike as Mark Yoder once again warns the Tom Sox bench. And the 1-1. Another fastball right past Gabe Sherman. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Preston Allen, this is the sharpest that he's looked all season for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, done a great job so far tonight. Obviously, we're only a batter and a half in so far, but his stuff just looks significantly more electric than we usually see out of him.
Swing and a miss. Another fastball right by Gabe Sherman. 2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts here in the 7th inning for Preston Allen, and the Tom Sox are 1 out away from sweeping a doubleheader against the Front Royal Cardinals.
Just as we mentioned how good the stuff of Preston Allen looks, he fires that one past Gabe Sherman there for the 2nd out of the inning.
Last hope for the Cardinals, Trent Jeffcoat. Hit leadoff in both games as a Let's Go Tom Sox chant breaks out here at Crutchfield Park. The windup in the first pitch to him. Just off the inside corner, 1 ball and no strikes.
Allen wanted that one, and as you mentioned, the crowd here at Crutchfield Park getting fired up a little bit as they're ready to watch their Tom Sox sweep this doubleheader tonight here against the Cardinals, currently up 7-1 in the top of the 7th.
The 1-0 fouled off back into the fence behind home plate. It's a ball and a strike on Jeffcoat, who in the second pitch, or in the second game of the doubleheader, is 1 for 3, doubled his last time up. Preston Allen struck out the first 2 batters he faced here in the 7th inning. It's 7-1 Tom Sox lead. The windup and the 1-1 high and away, 2-1.
Yeah, and for the Tom Sox here, this win once again would put them in an even greater position to take the number 1 overall seed in as we head to the VBL playoffs, looking to win their 2nd straight title, as many Tom Sox fans know, won the title back in 2019.
2-1, hit on the ground to second base. There's Lemus, throw to first, in time, and the Charlottesville Tom Sox have swept the doubleheader of the Front Royal Cardinals. The Sox are scorching hot right now. A 7-1 win here in Game 2 and a 7-2 win in Game 1. Dominant from beginning to end.
Yeah, as we mentioned coming into today's broadcast, how hot the the Tom Sox batting lineup has been, and they continue that tonight, scoring 14 runs in 14 innings. Can't do much better than that. Tom Sox will be back in action in a couple of days as they look to shore up first place and cap off what has been a beautiful season so far from your Charlottesville Tom Sox.
Time of game 2, 2 hours and 12 minutes. A very swift game 2. And the Tom Sox walk away victorious 7-1. They improve on the season now to 28-9 as the Cardinals fall to 16-23, and their hopes of making the playoffs are getting slimmer and slimmer as the Tom Sox charge closer and closer to that #1 overall seed and home field throughout the entire playoffs. Thank you so much for spending your evening and afternoon with us. For Dylan Castaigne and everyone involved here with the Tom Sox, I'm Zach Lambert. Tom Sox sweep a doubleheader. They win Game 1 7-2 and Game 2 7-1.